one thing that we're trying to do, we're trying to build something. And I've said this from the beginning. There has to be a foundation that has to be set. And, man, these guys understand that. And we're trying to build that foundation and get to where it's stable. Because I truly believe is once you build a foundation, if it's truly stable, then you can sustain winning. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. And listen, we know we have a long way to go. And we have a lot of work to do, on both sides of the ball.
CT, we did it again!
The entire NFL is staring at the New York Jets right now, not because they're dominating, but because they were supposed to be finished. After starting the season buried at the bottom of the standings, mocked by analysts, and written off by practically everyone, the Jets have suddenly rattled off 2 straight wins, and now the question is exploding across sports talk shows. Are the Jets actually making a comeback? For a franchise that has spent years choking on disappointment, a streak this unexpected hits like a thunderbolt. One minute, fans are calling for the entire coaching staff to be fired. The next, they're chanting playoffs like a curse has been lifted. What makes this story wilder is not the wins themselves, but the emotional hurricane swirling around them. The Jets didn't just win 2 games. They escaped disasters, survived chaos, and flipped a narrative that was already engraved in stone. Same old Jets. But these last 2 games, they weren't luck. They were defiance. They were a statement. And they just cracked open a door that was sealed shut, the possibility that this team isn't dead after all. But if you think this streak was simple, you're wrong. It all started at rock bottom. To understand how dramatic this turnaround is, you have to see where the Jets were just weeks ago, the bottom of the league. The Jets were 0-7, sitting hopelessly at the very bottom, becoming the punchline of every NFL podcast. The city turned on them, analysts called them unwatchable. The locker room felt flat, the offense dysfunctional, and the defense exhausted from carrying an entire roster. Then came the Bengals game. It started as another nightmare, down big. The offense looked lost. Fans were leaving early. Social media roasted them in real time. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, something snapped. The Jets stormed back, dropping 39 points in a 39-38 emotional victory that didn't feel like a football game. It felt like a resurrection. They played like a team possessed. And right when the winning locker room moment should have been euphoric, news broke that former Jets legend Nick Mangold had passed away that same afternoon. The emotional whiplash was insane. Chaos outside the stadium, tears in the tunnel. A team that hadn't shown a pulse all year suddenly played like they were fighting for someone bigger than football. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't smooth, but it was a win, and it set off a spark nobody saw coming. When a win comes out of raw emotion, critics will always say it was a fluke. That's what everyone said after the Bengals' comeback. Emotion won the game, not football. But then the Jets walked into Cleveland and did it again, 27-20 over the Browns. Except this time, there was no emotion wave. No miracle comeback. Just gritty, ugly, scrappy football. The offense was practically non-existent. Quarterback play was below average, barely breaking 100 passing yards. And still, the Jets found a way. The defense bullied the Browns. Special teams exploded. The Browns walked in expecting a rollover win. Instead, they got punched in the mouth by a team that refuses to die. Anytime a franchise starts winning, despite bad statistical play, the league gets nervous because it means they're winning on attitude, not numbers. And momentum is contagious. Here's the most shocking part of the Jets' turnaround. They aren't winning because their offense suddenly figured it out. They're winning because everything around the offense finally did. Their special teams are detonating games, flipping field position, and scoring. Their defense, not just holding off opponents, is ripping momentum away from them. Sacks, forced errors, breakup after breakup in key third down moments. Their defensive front is playing angry, like every snap is revenge against the season that buried them. The Jets' sideline energy has flipped. Players are celebrating every tackle, running off the field like they just won playoff snaps. That's culture shift. That's belief. And belief is deadly in football. The Jets are acting like a team that knows something the rest of the NFL hasn't figured out yet. Winning ugly still counts as winning. The locker room is talking. The media is whispering. The fans are screaming. For the first time all season, the Jets don't look hopeless. They look dangerous. But let's not sugarcoat anything. The Jets may be winning, but their problems are still massive. The offense is inconsistent, bordering on dysfunctional. Quarterback play swings between flashes of brilliance and complete panic. They can't sustain drives. They struggle to score in the red zone. Winning games this way is like trying to drive cross-country with your fuel gauge on empty. Exciting to watch, but mathematically terrifying. Injuries are piling up. Chemistry changes weekly. The Jets are doing all this while dealing with one of the toughest stretches of the schedule ahead. Analysts keep saying it. Defense wins games, but offense wins seasons. Right now, the Jets don't just need improvement. They need a transformation. And if they can't score points, this streak could collapse just as fast as it started. The stakes are real. Momentum is fragile, and one bad loss could erase everything. Every comeback story has tipping point moments, and the Jets have several. The biggest is leadership. Something clicked after that emotional Bengals comeback. Players started fighting for each other, not just for stats. If the quarterback settles in and stops forcing plays, the entire playbook opens up. If the offense can produce even average numbers, the Jets immediately become a problem. Because their defense isn't just good, it's elite. The Jets have young, explosive talent mixed with hungry veterans. They are built to ruin someone's playoff hopes. And that's the kind of team nobody wants to face in December. Winning streaks start with a spark. Comebacks start with belief. The Jets finally have both. Statistically, the Jets shouldn't be here. Teams that start 0-7 don't storm back into relevance. Playoff probabilities sit lower than lottery odds. Analysts keep saying it. They're out. But anyone who watches football knows numbers don't measure chaos. Momentum ignores statistics. Belief ignores history. A 2-game streak doesn't guarantee anything, but it forces the league to ask the question they were laughing at 2 weeks ago. What if the Jets aren't done? What if this was the turning point? Every great comeback in sports starts with disbelief. First, the fans laugh, then the analysts scoff, then the scoreboard starts changing, and momentum doesn't care who predicted what. So here's the truth. The Jets aren't back, but they're not dead either. They're in the middle, the scariest place for the rest of the league. The Jets have cracked open a door nobody expected them to. If the offense wakes up even a little, this team becomes a wrecking ball. If they can stack wins, the narrative shifts from collapse to comeback. And if they keep playing with this much heart, the Jets will be the most dangerous underdog in football. The next few weeks decide everything. Rebuild or revival. One thing is now certain. Nobody is laughing anymore.
The Jets' biggest issue is ownership, not Justin Fields. Bro, for they owner to come out and say that dumbass shit about Justin Fields, bro, was dumb, bro, because I'm under the belief, bro, if regardless of coaching, players, front office, your franchise is just sorry for decades on end. Nigga, it's the ownership fault because that's the one thing that didn't remain constant. The Cowboys for 30 years ain't won shit. Who else is to blame but for Jerry Jones? The Jets been sorry for however long. Who else is to blame but for the owner, bro? And yeah, Justin Fields may not be the solution, but he definitely ain't the problem, bro. This franchise has had years of inadequacy at every level. It start up top, bro. You notice how you have franchises regardless of who running the ship? They just like kind of historically always good. You know, the 49ers, the Ravens, the Packers. That's because they got better ownership. Even you look at a team like the Lions. All right, the Lions became good literally right after the daughter take over ownership from her mom. So, bro, the Jets been ass for all this time. It's no one but the owner's fault, bro. You should be taking all the blame. Because regardless of who y'all had out there, who y'all had coaching, who y'all had in the front office, who y'all had throwing the ball, y'all been ass, bro. It's the owner's fault.